Hey everybody, today we are talking about Love Becomes Her by Yoon Ro. First off, thank you so much to Earnshaw Books for providing me a copy of this book to read. I found it very intriguing and interesting. We start off with an expedition on a ship traveling to an island to hopefully find treasure. There, we end up finding that there isn't treasure in the traditional sense, but a giant turtle. And this turtle is special. This turtle is one that the apprentice that was sent there with this voyage has discovered that this turtle is the treasure that he's supposed to bring back to his master. His master happens to be Lao Tzu, which his nickname is also Long Ears because his ears are very droopy. And he is a philosopher, a Chinese philosopher that is, his philosophy is mostly in the balance in nature and how nature provides. And he is on the right hand side of the king, essentially, has some powers that are useful, insight that is useful for the king. And so when they find this turtle, the captain of the ship was very upset because he's like, this is not the treasure I was, being told was going to be here. So he feels a little cheated out of that. But when they return and provide this turtle, what ends up happening is the turtle, thanks to Long Ears, is able to start understanding English, and Long Ears can communicate with her. And they name her Yin, for the other side of Yang, Yin and Yang. And essentially, they have this relationship, and the idea was that over time, this magic placed on this turtle, placed on Yin, would evolve and turn her completely human into a woman, and so that she could be with Long Ears on a more intimate level than just, like partners. They essentially, what she is being used for, she gets a nickname, the Great Fertilizer, because she's going to help all of the famous, like all the kings' wives to be able to bear sons so that they can continue on their rule. And so that's kind of what they think that her purpose is. But for Long Ears and Yin, it's much more of them being able to be together. But unfortunately, Yin is still stuck in her turtle form, even though she's able to fully communicate and understand what is going on. And she's very intelligent, but she's still a turtle. And so we have this, over 2,000 years ago, where this timeline is. In each chapter, it flips back and forth between that timeline and the present. And in the present timeline, she's actually dug up. She was found in a grave on top of Long Ears. And the man that ends up finding her, it was kind of accidental. And releasing her from this soil, she ends up it's like she's been frozen in time, basically. So she ends up defrosting and being alive. And now she is in like the possession of this new person, and she's trying to grasp what's going on because now there's internet and social media and all this technology that is completely beyond her. And so she has to learn. And essentially, she is super intelligent because she has all of her past knowledge still that she hasn't forgotten. And she also has this new knowledge. And in this timeline, it turns out that the man that found her, Athens, he ends up being in trouble because he's like a really good hacker, and he got in some trouble with the museum, and they're trying to keep him out of trouble by being helping out at this like church, essentially, and being looked after in that way to kind of avoid being in prison. And once the abbot, I think his name's Abbot Shen or Chen, he sees the turtle and immediately wants her because of her shell. On her shell is an inscription that's from Lao Tzu, and all of his like basic philosophy, like his stanzas of basically just the way of his teachings is on her back. And so he knows it will pay for a high price, and so he wants it. So as soon as he leaves for a moment, Athens is like, we've got to go, because he's gonna essentially kill you. He's gonna take your shell and sell it and get a lot of money and have that, and he doesn't care about you, so we need to leave. Because it turns out that Athens can actually understand her too. They also are able to communicate with each other. So it's kind of like, you know, fate has brought them together, and this was the right time for her to come back out of the earth. And so they're traveling together on the run from not getting caught to protect her. And meanwhile, she starts feeling changes. Her fingers, well, her hands start becoming like fingers. Like they start evolving into more of a human style. Her neck's starting to get a little bit longer, like kind of more like how, I mean, turtles' necks are already kind of long, but like it starts changing, and the way she's moving, most likely she's starting to go through this transformation that she wanted to happen with long ears but never did. And now it seems like maybe it's finally starting to happen for her, and maybe she's actually going to be able to turn into the woman that she's wanted to be this whole time for centuries. And so this is just, I just really thought it was an interesting read, and a fun read, because it goes back and forth. You see the development of Yin and how she's becoming when she's back in the time with a long ears, and then you see how she reacts to this new world when we jump back to the present, and how she's dealing with these changes and with this new person that she's learning more about, and why she's able to communicate with him, and why he found her, and all these things just start coming into play. And so if you are interested in kind of a different kind of love story that is in two different timelines but melds together in a really good way, then I think you'll really like this. Overall, I thought this was a really nice book. I think if you're interested in the whole idea of a love story between a turtle and a human and how that can look different than, you know, your traditional love story, I would recommend that you give it a shot and let me know how you think about this story. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.